Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Flora, the newest Duet Knight Abyss character, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys everything that you need to know about her. To be honest, building characters in Duet Knight Abyss is like pretty simple usually. You just follow like whatever the gold stats are. In Flora's case, I don't actually think that's 100% true, so I wanted to go ahead and share that with you guys. On top of that, she is a twin tails haver, so of course you guys know we have to play her. Them's the rules, guys. You guys know how it is. And honestly, there was a lot of really big stuff that came out in this update. It wasn't just Flora, so I will talk about that towards the end of the video because you guys really should know about this thing, man. Oh my god, dude, calamity weapons are so sick. I mean, just look at all this stuff, guys. They're giving free characters, weapons. I mean, they already gave out free characters, but they're like literally login rewards this time. Tons of free polls, free skins. I mean, look at all this. But yeah, with all that being said, guys, my name is Braxophone. You can call me Brax. I'm gonna teach you all about Flora today. I am moving, so you know, my new backdrop is not permanent, but you know, if enough people like the boxes behind me, maybe I'll just never unpack and we can just have this be our permanent background for all of our videos going forward. Anyways, let's get into it, and I'm gonna show off her kit to you guys. I think she's a really, really cool character. So there's not that many characters in the game that fully take advantage of melee weapons. There are consonance weapons, which are nice, but not many characters are using a like melee weapon and actually doing most of their damage as melee weapon damage. So it is cool to have that without a consonance weapon. And Flora does just that. She also has a bit of a confusing kit at face value. When you just look at it, you can see, oh, there's so many terms: thorns, blossom balls, waltz, reprise, finale. You also have a courtly marionette. You also have symphony and other like there's so many of these words that don't actually mean what they mean in real life. So I'm gonna try and go over those really easily for you guys, but it might take a second for me to explain because the pausing of this game isn't perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and spawn in an enemy and show you guys exactly how this stacks. Basically, there are 3 different stacking mechanics you have. You have your symphony. This is shown in the bottom left or in the buff bar. You can see there's a 10 or this pink one by my camera. This 10 here is their symphony stacks. Whenever I normal attack, it takes a symphony, and a symphony gets spent to do AoE damage after just hitting him. So you're noticing I'm actually getting 2 hits even though I'm only swinging once. That is the extra symphony damage. These in the center are reprise stacks, and reprise stacks are going to do a couple of things for you, but the main thing they're going to do is summon a whirling blade of death called a doll that swings across your field and does damage to everything in the way. It'll cost 1 reprise to use it, and you gain reprise whenever you crit the enemy. Now let me get 30 symphony stacks. This is where you max out. Once you have 30 symphony stacks, your skill is free, by the way. You can just spend this forever if you choose to. But okay, now that we have 30 symphony stacks, I'll go ahead and use our ult. Now our ult's gonna make like kind of an area where all these blades will swing across. So you can already see this thing going back and forth doing 800k unbuffed, which is pretty crazy. And now I have 6 thorns. They're adding up. The more thorns you have, the more damage you do with this next bit, which is a special charged attack that absorbs all of your thorns and crashes into them. So there was about 900k. It also absorbs 5 of your symphony stacks to do 5 AoEs. So that's why you saw so many extra hits here. So watch how many extra hits there are. Boom. All of those extra hits right there. All of this stuff works in tandem, and it's honestly, it seems like a lot to keep track of, but Duet Knight Abyss is not a very complicated game, okay? You can understand and get to use the full kit of every single character without even really understanding everything to the degree that you feel you might need. All right, this stuff is actually really, really simple. So that's what her 3 gauges do, and I'll kind of explain her skill, her ult, and everything. Now, her skill I basically have already gone over to you guys. She just does some slashes in front, and then she gains some symphony. But her ult is going to be a little different. So when it creates that sort of AoE blossom ball field around you that is shooting out those blades nonstop and they're just kind of ricocheting, bouncing off, that ult also increases your crit damage based on your skill intensity. So I'm getting a 213% crit damage boost, which is pretty dang significant. And if you have skill intensity buffers, like you have Fushu, for example, this can get even higher. The radius of the blossom ball is increased by skill range, and it costs you sanity per second to keep it up. This is alleviated slightly by this passive here, where whenever you consume symphony or reprise, it restores 1 sanity. However, it's not always enough, and I'll show you kind of what I mean here. So I'll go ahead and spawn in a bunch of enemies and just show you like how fast we get our sanity back. It's not actually that crazy. So let me go ahead and get all of their attention real quick, and you can watch my sanity in the lower left. I'm gonna have to get some symphony stacks by using my skill once, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now I'm at 30, right? Watch my sanity. It's going up. You can see this thing increasing, right? But it's not that crazy. It's really not that much. In all of those hits and all of those stacks, I barely gained any sanity by comparison to what some of the other characters can do. So I get more symphony stacks, I can smack them around some more, and it feels like, oh wow, I'm doing a lot here, but realistically, it's not really that much. So there are some other ways to alleviate the sanity issues, and I'll talk about those momentarily. Waltz is gonna be where the dolls go through an attack and give you a thorn stack. And now there's one sort of final thing to talk about here. So we have this passive called Invitation of Blossoms. Basically, this is going to make it it so that when you hit an enemy and you crit them, they get turned into a courtly marionette. That's basically just like stunning them in place. Like they just kind of sit there as this like purple thing that does not move. All right, let me just show you. You crit someone for the first time, watch this. Boom. He's spinning, he's doing a little dance. This is the courtly marionette, and this is how he's stuck. Now, the problem with this is that they don't move on their own. So if you're trying to run them somewhere or like train them down a certain direction and just do a bunch of damage to them when they all get into a line, funnel them down a certain way, does get a little annoying. But if you do have a character that can group enemies, it can be super useful. And then when you're not doing the finale special charged attack with thorns, this is what it looks like. So it's just a regular charged attack. You only get the cool like finale finisher when you have thorns. Her final passive will just be attack for herself and Umbro allies. Now, the last thing to mention, and probably one of the most important things about this character's kit, is that basically every single thing in her kit is considered weapon damage. Every single thing. It's all weapon damage. You're just doing weapon damage with like literally everything. So because of that, there are characters that can help out significantly. Fina is one of them. If you already have a fully built and invested Fina, she's able to increase ally weapon damage with this. But in addition to that, she's able to help you deal every single other type of damage and increase your damage output pretty significantly. So Fina is a really solid choice. And for her other teammates, I actually recommend Fushu, which is really funny because you actually miss out on a lot of the buffs that Fushu provides, but hear me out. So I think I mentioned this earlier, but typically you want to go for whatever the gold stats are, and skill efficiency is one of them. If you get high skill efficiency, then your ultimate's not going to be draining your sanity as fast over time, and that's going to mean that you get more uptime. And if you can outpace the sanity you're losing with the sanity you're gaining from this passive, then that's pretty significant. However, I've opted for a damage build because Fushu can actually fill in your team, give you some healing to keep your morale up because she is a very high morale character. And in addition to that, she can increase your skill efficiency, which will also increase the amount of crit damage you get buffed. Sorry, not skill efficiency, skill intensity is what I meant, but that should increase your crit damage. So Fushu and Fina are pretty good together. But I want to talk about another character as well, because Umbro MC just came out, and Umbro MC is kind of ridiculous, okay? She is pretty dang absurd. So what Umbro MC does, not only do they heal your allies, they also give them extra combo points, which combo points are going to be useful in a second when I explain her weapon. They dish out damage themselves, and they give you an extra Umbro damage multiplier on top of the damage you're already doing, and they make enemies take 60% more Umbro damage. That is absurd. So Umbro MC is going to make enemies take 60% more Umbro damage from your high Umbro damage dealing character, and they actually add weapon damage boosts as well. So they have a really good synergy with Flora, and I highly recommend trying them both out together. In fact, I can just kind of show you what that looks like right now. So first I'll show you Fina and Fushu. Let me go ahead and get everyone together real quick. I'm going to go ahead and skill once, ult, and skill 2 more times. And as you can see, everything kind of just melts. Like, these are level 180 enemies. They're getting absolutely obliterated. I didn't even use my Thorns charge attack. But yeah, they're all dead. So, like, that's pretty ridiculous. But now let me show you the other option here, okay? If you guys thought that was fast, check this out. Go ahead and spawn a bunch of these guys at level 180. The enemies are, well, they're gone. I mean, look at this. Level 180, by the way. This is absurd. I didn't even hit them with my charge attack again. The Thorns charge attack, I'm literally missing, and they're all just getting obliterated instantly. So the good news there is that you can keep Fina for another character if you have a consonance weapon user you want to use. There you go. So Fushu I'm just taking because it means that I can keep my ult up indefinitely. But technically speaking, you don't have to take Fushu. You could even take Fina and Umbro MC together, and man, that would be disastrous for the other guys. So I am going to go over her build, but first I want to talk about her Introns a little bit. This Intron 1 is pretty significant. The melee weapon crit rate increase it's going to give you is going to help out massively with being able to proc her extra abilities, basically. But on top of that, it's going to make it so you only have to skill twice instead of 3 times for max symphony. Her second Intron is also pretty massive. This one's going to make it so her waltz triggers faster. Her waltz is the spinning blade dolls that go through your ult arena area, and it'll help you build the reprise even faster. Now, the reprise thing doesn't matter yet. It will matter when we get to the higher Introns. 3 and 5 are just going to level up some of your skills even more to increase the multipliers and things like that. This Intron 4 is massive. Okay, this significantly increases the amount of sanity she gets back. Normally, Entranced is giving her 1 sanity per symphony or reprise consumed, right? But at Intron 4, you're actually getting 3 sanity back. This is triple the amount of gains, and this makes it so you don't actually have to run Fushu most of the time. You can just play other characters with her, and now you can just fully support her, which I think is really awesome. So Intron 4 is where you're able to really use those other teammates. And Intron 6, of course, you have the classic pen, the 30%, which is pretty crazy. But this also makes it so that once once you have 6 thorns and you cast Finale, it'll fill up the remainder of the thorns with reprise. And since you're basically going to always have really high reprise, you get the full 12 damage even at 6 thorns. And because you're getting more thorns more frequently because of Intron 2, you should be able to use Finale like a lot more frequently. Also, you get 5 waltz triggers right after you cast Finale, which is going to put you at 5 thorns, which is going to make it like you just can spam this basically, which is crazy. So her Introns do add a ridiculous amount of damage, and you guys saw it, Intron 0, she was already doing that much, so she's crazy. But okay, so you're probably wondering what the build is. This is what I'm running. I've actually stacked her up on morale, and this is because when I tested her with a very high attack build versus a very high morale build, the morale build actually did better. So I tried it with 2 different builds. I tried this test build with 3 scorches and then a morale and a skill intensity to get us some more crit damage, and then wildfire for intensity and skill range and morale and all of this other stuff, right? Hunt down makes it so that you get an increase in your Umbro damage whenever you have over 60% morale. Hitting that's pretty dang easy. You also get the skill efficiency and the sanity with it. So the Wings Inspo Hunt Down is going to be really, really good. But overall, I found that running Blaze Morale, Morale Volition, getting like a little bit of an even spread of stats here was pretty useful. I think that running 1 Scorch is okay. You can also just run more Morale if you choose to. Between all of these things, when I tested Scorch, it felt worse than Morale, but that doesn't mean she wants no attack. It just means that, you know, going all Scorch isn't going to beat it. In this case with Blaze Spectrum, this is probably the only one that I would really recommend substituting. And the reason for it is because skill range, it's really debatable if you need it. Skill range does affect how big the AoE of the spinning dolls is, but I personally didn't feel like skill range was super necessary. It's a little comfy and I feel like I'm doing more than enough damage for my needs, so I'm running it, but personally I would swap it for a Morale Volition if you feel like you're not doing enough damage. So that's just some food for thought. And then of course we have the morale in the middle too. Illusionary Sacrifice is going to make it so when you consume sanity, you get crit chance on your weapon. So we are chilling on crit chance. We are basically going to be almost fully capped. Now her signature weapon is actually way more important than basically most signatures before it. The reason is because it increases your Umbro character's damage dealt by 0.2% for each combo point that you have. Keep in mind that goes up to 120. So you are going to get 24% more Umbro damage dealt and a morale boost. And in addition to that, once your combo points are consumed, which is basically just whenever your combo points run out, you are going to get another morale increase as well. So if you're in between waves of enemies, you'll start with morale boost when you get started, and you know, nice and easy. It's also good for boss downtime. If you can't do any damage to the boss, you could just drop your combo, come back in with morale, and get a boost of damage. Now for the build here, I went ahead and I increased my attack, spike attack, attack speed, crit chance, crit damage, and the charge attack that comes with the Rage Momentum Wedge here is actually good because her charged attack is Finale, which does that big nuke of damage, which you guys didn't even really get to see it. But here I also have some attack speed increases, and I also like Whirl of Illusion. This is also going to make it so that you deal 200% more damage than the standard attack while you're also getting the speed buff. Now, in addition to that, you can actually get more crit damage if you choose to. There are more ways to get crit damage. There's one, you can get this one with the crit damage and trigger probability. I actually opted for attack range here. You can totally swap these out if you want, but I like attack range more because it means that I don't have to move as much manually. If there's a horde of enemies, I'm hitting everyone, right? I don't gotta hit everyone except for the 3 guys in the back. Now I'm hitting the 3 guys in the back too. But this is technically more damage to the enemy in front of you, so those 2 are up to you. As for secondary weapons, I just went for the skill intensity Express Duo. There is technically a calamity weapon, and I'll talk about that more towards the end of the video, but I don't have it actually smelted. So because I don't have it smelted, I'm not gonna get the benefits of it, so I'm not gonna worry about it. I will tell you guys more about calamity weapons at the end of the video. They are really freaking cool, and honestly, if you can use this and you get it smelted on your main account, you do absolutely want to use it for all the benefits it's going to give her. It's going to increase her damage massively, and she is proficient with assault rifles, which is all you need to equip the calamity assault rifle. So for Genimons, for this video, I ended up using Electrolf because it's going to grant you a bunch of sanity. But if you're playing Fushu, you can run Umbrelf to increase your Umbro attack, which is going to help out 2 characters in the team, and then also increase morale for you guys. And if you don't have the battle pass, you can use Nebuthus, which will increase the Umbro attack for your allies, and you can actually just find this in the wild. So as for the wedges on the range weapon, honestly doesn't really matter too much because you're not able to increase the attack speed of your melee weapon or your crit of the melee weapon with this. Well, okay, that's technically not true. You can do it with this weapon, but you can't do it with the wedges is what I mean. So, but that's basically her build and her teams as I would recommend. If you are going to play Fushu, you don't need to actually use her signature weapon. The reason is because her signature weapon doesn't actually provide value to this team that much. Like, it's increasing skill damage, but I would rather have like skill range on her AoEs or something since you're going to be moving around so much, and that would be probably more helpful. Now, if you're wondering where to get Introns for Flora, as always, you can get the new character in the new immersive theater, which is unlocked after a certain quest in the game. Oh, and because Flora is in the immersive theater now, Camilla is now in Nocturnal Echoes, and Psyche is now in on the commission shop. So if you do want to get the last copies of Psyche from maybe starting playing the game and not finishing that, you can start getting her from that shop now. Now, let me tell you about the other exciting stuff this patch, because dude, this kicks ass. All right, it's just sick. So first off, let me tell you a little bit about the Calamity weapons. So Calamity weapons, as of Flora's release, there is only one Calamity weapon in the game, and it works really, really well for her. Basically, the way these weapons work is you don't actually grind them out in your standard way. Normally, you would go do secret letters, forge the weapon, and then you would smelt them. The Calamity weapons actually have these like sort of skill trees that you can level up. You smelt, then you get to get additional abilities per smelt. And all of these abilities are really, really solid, and they kind of just destroy all of the other weapons we have in the game right now. So with smelt level 0 is going to make it so you can actually group enemies with the weapon when you shoot them once you reach a high enough Calamity. And this is really helpful for Flora specifically. But in addition to that, you also have some of these bonuses that give you more Calamity to make this trigger more quickly and based off of combo points. This one makes it so you can use your melee weapon with it as well. This is a ridiculously high amount of skill intensity, 45%. This gives you penetration stats. This one gives you more melee weapon damage. This increases the AoE radius of pulling enemies in. This gives you a massive damage increase of the element of the character wielding it. This is a huge morale increase, and this increases weapon charge attack damage, which helps Flora. And then this last one will help with your combo point cycling, because you're going to have a ridiculous amount of combo points. It'll basically max you out instantly and help you deal more damage. So, I mean, this thing is ridiculous. The amount of stats it gives you, it's absurd. And then, of course, in addition to the new weapons, we do have like the skins for Flora as well, the really cool new stuff. I mean, this is gorgeous. There's also a skin for her weapon. So if you do want that, I mean, Jesus, dude, she looks crazy. This is absurd. Like, I think this is insane. You ult and then all the wings come out and dude, I don't know. It's gorgeous. You can also dye this stuff as well. So if you choose to dye it, you can change the colors of basically everything. And I think that's really, really cool. I like that they do that. I'm not going to change that though. In addition to the new Calamity weapons and everything, they've also added a new guild system. So you can actually create a guild and join a guild. I'm going to go ahead and open up this one, and there's a guild shop. This guild shop will allow you to buy different items, including foxins and sharpening potions, projectiles, coins, everything here. So the guild shop is going to be massively helpful for you guys. And there's also going to be guild territories in the future. So something to look forward to. And once again, I do want to show you guys like how much stuff they're just giving us for like logging in. It's pretty ridiculous. You get to choose from a bunch of characters. You can get a free weapon. You can get some free skins, a Demon Wedge Collection Chest to make it easier to get some of the wedges you might have been wanting to farm. I mean, look at all this. If you guys want to see the rest of the stuff that came out this patch, make sure to check out their live stream. They also had a really nice message for the entire player base at the end of their last live stream. So I highly recommend you guys check it out. But that is going to be it for the Flora guide. If you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like down below and feel free to join my guild on Duet Night Abyss. I haven't made it yet because as I'm recording this, it actually isn't out yet, but I'll pin a comment with the guild name. So I'll catch you all next time. See ya.